And what we do is develop and publish video games. If you don't know much about our industry, it is a huge and growing industry. 2012, the best estimates were that the industry did about $84 billion in sales. Last year, it's estimated to be around $93 billion, and it keeps on going. We are much bigger than the movie industry or any other form of entertainment. The stuff that we are best known for is a series called The Elder Scrolls. If you're into role-playing, nerdy stuff, that's kind of our bread and butter. That's our crown jewel. We did a game called Skyrim in 2011 that was widely considered the video game of the year, and we sold well over 20 million copies of that. It is an absolutely fantastic game that was made by the guys in our headquarters, who also made Fallout 3, which is another franchise we're very well known for, which was also the game of the year. We're currently making a couple games that you might have heard of. One is The Elder Scrolls Online. So it's a massively multiplayer game where instead of playing just by yourself, which is what The Elder Scrolls is known for, you play as a character you create in this massive world, and you basically go wherever you want and do what you want. We took that and turned it into an MMO where you're playing on a server with thousands of other people who are doing the same thing at the same time. And you can play by yourself, or you can play with others. Primarily, we do AAA box product. So we make the kind of games that you walk into Best Buy or to GameStop to buy, or off of Amazon. We developed for the 360 and the new Xbox One, the PS3 and the PS4, and the PC, and on rare occasions the Mac. We just announced the release date for another game we're making called Wolfenstein: The New Order, which is an alternate reality game where you play this badass super soldier who looks a little bit like Haas over there.
Get in the movie business.
I had to pay him $10 for that.
It's a first-person shooter, and it's an alternate reality where the fiction is that the Nazis won World War II and have taken over the world, and you awake from a coma as this guy and are like, nope, not happening, and you find the resistance, and it's sort of an action-adventure, story-based shooter where you start fighting back against the Nazis. And then we have a game coming out in August called The Evil Within, which is survival horror. So if you're into being terrified while you play and having nasty things jump out of the darkness at you, we tend to make, as you can probably tell, like mature games. We don't make stuff for kids. I think we've shipped one teen-rated game in the last 10 years. We make games that we like to play. We're grown-ups. We're fathers of kids. I never let my kids play any of the games that I make. I'm my 14-year-old. My job is obviously PR and marketing, so I'm in charge of everything that we do to promote our games, from press releases to websites to trailers that we make, to the ads that appear in stores, to the box itself. But because I've been there since we didn't have lots of people to do all those things, I get to do a little bit of everything. So I do a lot of play testing for all the studios, which is the part where I do what people actually think I do, which is sit in my office and play games for hours at a time. One huge new thing in our industry is free-to-play games, where you're no longer spending $60 up front to buy the game. You give the thing away for free. It's just you go online and download it, it costs you nothing, and you can start playing it. But there's all kinds of things that either allow you to get access to areas of the game more quickly, or to unlock things more quickly, and you can pay. The reason free-to-play is so important is that gaming in places like North America and Europe is growing, just because people are getting older, and games are all around them from the age of, I let my kids start playing at like 3 and 4 on the laptop or whatever. The really huge emerging markets are in places like Brazil and China and Russia. And in those places, they are not interested in spending $60 up front for a video game. A lot of those places have limited access to game consoles like an Xbox One, or they're not even available. And so a free-to-play game on a PC or on a phone, where mobile free-to-play is massive, is a huge opportunity there, because people are more than willing to get a game for free and spend $100 playing it but they don't want to spend $60 up front and then play it for free. 100% of what we do on a game is done by us, meaning either by the publisher or by the developer who we own. We don't have any games that we're making that are external. Mod basically means anything that a player is able to do to the game after we've put it in a box and shipped it. They're able to take tools that we put out and go back to the game and modify it. So again, for those of you in the room who don't know and love Skyrim like the rest of us do, one of the big things in Skyrim is dragons. Dragons return to Tamriel, which is the world of the Elder Scrolls. And you have fire-breathing dragons, and part of the fun is I get to feel like a tough guy or girl and kill a dragon and feel awesome when I slay a dragon. Well, somebody decided it would be even more awesome if you took all the dragons in Skyrim and replaced them with fire-breathing Thomas the Tank Engines. So he went in and recreated Thomas the Tank Engine as a skim and said, anytime you're going to show a dragon in the world, show Thomas the Tank Engine instead. And so you load up the PC version with his mod, and now there are Thomas the Tank Engines flying around the sky and coming down to attack you and attacking the towns. And so that's a mod. It's just a thing that the user did on their own time to have fun. And another thing I want to talk about. So free-to-play has become a really big thing. One of the things both related to free-to-play and ancillary to free-to-play that's becoming a bigger deal now is people who make mods for games and are able to charge for them. So there are games like Team Fortress 2, where you can create a new skin for a weapon, or a new outfit, or a funny hat that people can wear. Yeah. And you then make that available to sell in the game, and if anybody sees somebody else wearing that hat and say, that's an awesome hat, how do I get that hat? They go, oh, to get that, you have to spend $2 on it. And the money gets split between the person who created it and then Valve, or in this case, the guys who run Steam who support Team Fortress 2. So this has become a new area that like 10 years ago didn't exist, but now it's sort of officially managed and done in a way where you're seeing people who used to work for video game companies, right? And what they found was, oh, I'll just go make mods for Team Fortress 2, and I'm making so much money off of creating stuff for other people's games that they have actually quit their jobs and they just work for themselves, making stuff for other people's games, and they get 70% of it, and the company gets 30%, and that's now what they do for them. And no matter what age they are, they immediately say, I got a great idea for a game, you should make this game. Like, the problem is not, we don't have any good ideas for a game, and I was just waiting for a 12-year-old from St. Agnes to chime in and give me one. It is always about the execution of idea, not the idea. And again, not video game specific, but applicable to anything. Ideas are a dime a dozen. It is your ability to take even the simplest of ideas and execute them to a very high level that is the difference between succeeding or failing. Generally speaking, the easier the idea and the better the execution, the better your result is going to be. The industry you're going to work into, it is first and foremost and always about people. Unless you somehow magically find a niche whereby you get to work by yourself and never have to interact with anybody ever, it is always going to be about people. How you talk to them, how you communicate with them, how they feel about you, how you feel about them. One of the our culture will help us overcome our problems. The way in which we talk and interact with each other, the way we're all willing to pull up our sleeves and pitch in. You want me to go outside and cut the grass? If that will actually solve our problem, I will go do that. And I want to work with people like that. I don't want to work with people who think, I'm too good for that, that's below my pay grade. So we have this giant Elder Scrolls Online game that's coming out in April. If any of you guys have PCs and would be interested in play testing that, I brought business cards with me. I'd be happy to hand them out to you guys for any questions you have after this, but I'd be happy to get you into the next beta that we have, which is basically where we get hundreds of thousands of people into the games and test it to make sure it actually holds up to the kind of volumes that you get when you launch the game.